Welcome back to The Conversation. I'm Delisa Hernandez, and here with me is Mr. Captain Paul Hurlston, who's going to tell us a little about his story at sea. So go ahead and tell us, at what age did you go to sea?
At the age of 15, I went to the Mosquito Coast to catch turtles.
Wow, at 15 years old. You went to sea at 15 years old. Let me get that right.
That is correct.
Because at 15, my mother and my daddy wouldn't let me go to the movies, much less go to sea. So I find that's a very young age.
Yes, well, a lot younger than that because there was no movies to go to here in Canada. And there was no money making here. To earn a shilling, well, a pound, shilling, and pencils, you had to go off the island. There was no money in Cayman. So I went to the Mosquito Coast with my uncle, Captain Paul Hurlston, and we stayed out there 16 weeks, caught 200 turtles, and shared, it was 38 pounds. I was a 15-year-old boy with 38 pounds in my pocket. Boy,
wow.
I was not rich.
Wow.
But I worked hard. That was tough. But that prepared me for everything that I would meet after that.
So where was your first destination when you went to sea?
Well, after, it was the Nicaraguan coast there. But then I said I came back after 16 weeks out there. And 1 year later, the 10th day of January 1947, at the age of almost 16 was my birthday. The following day, I sailed out to Cayman on that little boat, Antares, Tampa, to look employment. And everybody said I was too young, I couldn't do it, but they would not allow me to work. But I was fortunate. I've been lucky all my life. And I started sailing on fruit ships at the age of 16.
So what exactly do you remember when you went to sea? Obviously you went to sea at a very young age. You had to leave your mom and your family and your siblings home. And I'm sure that was difficult for you. What did you experience?
Oh, it was rough, but I was happy to go, and they didn't mind me going because if I got a job, I know some money was coming in to help support them. But it was rough in those days because it was a segregation, and I couldn't go drive in a white taxi. I couldn't go to a white restaurant. I couldn't go to a hotel. And a white hotel, and it was, even to the movie, it was segregated.
So you faced a lot of...
I faced a lot of discrimination, and it was tough. But we needed to live it. Needed a job. And my first ship, this fruit ship was Swanner Fruit and Steamship coming out of Jacksonville, Florida, and I was making a whole $80 a month. Oh boy, that was big money. And $80, I sent home $50 every month to my mother. And I saved a little bit out of by buying clothing and things I needed and having a little fun. I still save a little money out of that too.
So, thinking about it now, I know, these days, you hear a lot of people who, say, well, we don't make a lot of money. We $2,000 or $1,500 a month is like nothing for most people. But you were making 80. There's a big difference then. I know we always talk about back in the day we had our own cows, we had our own trees, our own crops, that kind of thing that we used to go down to the neighbor's acre, I can borrow this, Things have changed. What have you noticed significant when it comes to in the seafarer's world that has changed when you were 15 and then throughout the time you actually served your time?
Oh, so much has changed. I don't know where to start in on that because you hear I'm talking today about recycling. We knew all about that because we had to. You never threw away anything. It was always old clothing. You didn't throw those away. And if you did, you cut the buttons off of the shirts or you save that for the next one. In Cayman those days, you could not go anywhere to buy any clothing off the rack. It had to be tailored, local made. So all the young ladies learned to sew. Most of them learned to sew and to cook. There was no restaurants to eat in, and And there was no electricity. I remember my first trip after 4.5 years, I returned to Cayman. Still wasn't any electricity. Oh boy, the first night I tried to shave with a lamp, with a kerosene lamp. That learned me a lesson. Say, you do that in the daytime.
Tell me a little about what, I mean, you were at sea for what, 4 years, you said?
4.5.
4.5 years.
My first trip.
So you made more than...
Oh.
Tell us about that. Get into the story for me. We want to know what's going on. What happened?
I was at sea for 41.5 years.
41.5 years.
I started as low as it could go. I just started as a deckhand, and I wound up as a captain.
So exactly what did it take for you to build yourself up to being a captain?
A lot of hard work and a good stomach, because so many times I met so many officers that I had to do their work for them. They had white skin and straight hair. I was a nigger. They got the money, and I did the work. So it was humiliating sometimes, because we needed the money, the things that you told us. My first ship, the second ship was National Bulk Carrier, because I was the first Caymanian with a license that sailed with National Bulk Carrier. He didn't want me to eat in the same mess hall with the rest of the officers because I was colored.
Wow.
Of course, I was a young guy those days. I hadn't had a mouth, and I didn't back
like
down.
most young people.
I didn't back down. But, the white guys never went through that, so they don't understand it. But there's a lot of us that had that, and having that thrown in your teeth all the time, you West Indian, stupid, you this and that. I've heard that so much. But one thing I would like to say to the young people, that you can accomplish anything you want to. It's a lot of hard work. You're going to have to put up with a lot of unpleasant things sometimes. But if you have a goal, you can make it. Because I'm testimony to that, because I was stepped on, stomped on so many times, and I rose up and I made it. I made it.
And the thing is I'm sure your parents and your family were very proud of you. You started at the bottom, you worked your way up, just like any normal person should do in a position,
Yeah. Well, my father died when I was 4 years old. I can just remember him. But all my brothers, I'm the youngest of 10 children. It was 6 boys and 4 girls. And all my brothers went to sea. All my brothers, my older brother John, he was a captain also. Hartman, president, he sailed with me, he knows him. And as I said, sometimes it looks so terrible, but you study and persevere. And as Mr. DeCosta said, you cannot start from the top. You have to start from the bottom.
And work your way up.
And remember, there's always someone who's looking at you. If you do good, you'll be rewarded. If you do bad, you'll get fired. But everybody wants depend and be honest. That's one of the most things. If you make a mistake, tell the truth. I made it.
Of course.
It has taken me through.
Right. A lot of people, they try to push it under the rug. I never did nothing, but at the end of the day, if you tell the truth.
If you tell the truth, you'll be respected. They mightn't like it, but you'll be respected for it. They know that you can trust, that you can be trusted.
So during those years at sea, give me one story that either was frightening or that was like total laughter, or was like, am I gonna make it? Am I not gonna make it? Just give us one little idea as to what you faced, a terrible time or enjoyable time at sea.
I don't know which one to pick.
You can tell us both.
Well, in 1955, I was sailing out of New York, Philadelphia, and Jacksonville, Florida, up to Nova Scotia below Gypsum Rock. And I think it was October 1955, I took in with I thought I had a heart condition. I went to the Marine Hospital in Staten Island, and I had all kind of tests, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. The ship went back to Little Narrows, Nova Scotia, Cape Breton, unloaded, and on her way back she sank, drowned 3 to 4 men.
Wow.
No survivors. Everybody was gone off.
Wow.
So that was one of my things. Then I've been on fire. 1950, the 18th day of May 1950, we got a little ship burnt down on us on the Pacific going to Ecuador for fruits. I went aground and coming down the Mississippi River. I got in a collision on the Houston Ship Channel, so I've been through the mill.
Wow, that sounds like you had an exciting time and see whether it was like, the fact that you actually survived that one ship that sank that's remarkable. That's absolutely remarkable. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Paul, for sharing your story, or Captain Paul, rather, for sharing your story with us. And, I really appreciate it. It gave me a little insight as to, like, who we are, where we come from, and the things you guys have had to go through just for your country, just to ensure that, you came back home, and you were there for your family, you brought back money for, to inject into our economy. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it, Finn. We'll be right back with more after this break.